John, however, told his followers that he was only preparing the way. Someone greater than he was to come. So with this instruction at the back of their minds, the disciples of John came to Jesus and asked him, "Are you the one, or do we have to look for another?" And Jesus gives them an indirect answer. He says, "Go back and report to John what you hear and see. The blind see, cripples walk, lepers are healed, the deaf hear, the dead come back to life, and the poor have the good news preached to them." Jesus says, "By my fruits you will know me." So Jesus came to accomplish his reign on earth. By real, tangible, practical, down-to-earth, concrete signs, the people would be able to recognize the true Messiah. Now, a pastor of a Catholic parish has to be a very practical, down-to-earth person if he wants his parish to be successful in all its endeavors. A pastor is given the task, the important work started by Jesus, to build up the kingdom of God here on earth as well as in heaven. It is a monumental task and harder in today's world. Through concrete signs of his accomplishments, the parishioners should be able to recognize the image of Christ in their pastor as he truly tries to bring Christ into their homes and into their lives. After all, that work of sharing his faith in God, a pastor might be a bit worn out and needing a rest. After all, Jesus went to deserted places, often alone, to pray, to rest, to get the energy to continue his mission. The great English writer and renowned convert to our faith, G.K. Chesterton, once was playing a little quiz game with some friends. One of the questions was, if you were shipwrecked and alone on a desert island, what one book above all others would you wish to have with you? And one of the players immediately said, the Bible, and gave a very pious reason for this selection. Another said, a volume of Shakespeare, and he gave a very learned reason for wanting Shakespeare. Chesterton said, well, if I were alone, were allowed just one book on that deserted island, I would choose a one-volume manual of instructions for amateur boat builders. Chesterton was a very practical man. Jesus was a practical man too. He was more concerned with the people in need who surrounded him than with all the misguided ideas that people had about their Messiah King. Jesus said, look around you and tell me if the kingdom has not come. He did not worry too much about their concepts of messiahship. He worried about the healing of his people. There is a definite hope revealed in the three readings today. Isaiah speaks to a disheartened people yearning for home, even though they remember the aridity and barrenness of their homeland. Through Isaiah, God promises not only to bring the people home, but also to restore them and their land, pouring life into both, watering the land, healing bodies, bringing joy. St. James, in our second reading, urges his people to be patient. The second reading will happen, he basically says. In the gospel, John in prison was becoming a bit discouraged. He questions, is this the Messiah? Jesus says, yes, look at all the signs around you. Now, the gospel today begins with a reminder where and why John was in prison. He was there because of his preaching, because he told Herod to his face that it was wrong for him to take his brother's wife. John tried to make the reign of God present by preaching the truth and he paid for it with his life. A pastor tries to model his life on the teachings of Jesus, the hope of Isaiah in building peace by melting swords into plowshares, and like St. John the Baptist, willing to speak up on a controversial issue that will not win him a popularity contest. A pastor sometimes takes a beating when he speaks out. But that is a challenge put for us when given the book of the Gospels at ordination time and told to preach the word in season and out of season, in good times and in bad. A pastor should live that word day in and day out. A story is told about a prophet who came once to a city to convert its inhabitants. At first, the people liked his sermons, but they gradually drifted away till there was not a single soul to hear the prophet when he spoke. One day, a traveler said to him, "Why do you go on preaching?" Said the prophet, "In the beginning, I hoped to change these people. If I still shout, it is only to prevent them from changing me." Michael McGraw originated in Erie, Pennsylvania, a former teacher at Gannon College in Erie, and he was a seminary professor in Boynton Beach, a spiritual advisor of many seminarians over the years, a supporter of the Mercy Sisters in our school here over the years, and its continuation through many dedicated lay teachers today. He, like many other pastors, had to worry about leaky roofs, plumbing problems in this large complex, and other practical things, and many times had to worry about meeting salaries and fulfilling financial obligations to our Palm Beach diocese. That is what a pastor does in addition